All right, it's Q&A hot seat time with Fran and Kristina. So we got a few questions, really good questions, but Fran wanted to address something real quick, right, before we hopped into answering them.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, I'll repeat what you told me.
What
That a
did
lot
you?
of times these questions have been asked before.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. No, I realize that a lot of these questions have been addressed before. I don't, and Christy, correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't really talked about our answers, but I don't feel we have anything brand new, anything like, oh my God, that is the secret, whatever.
Right.
We all pretty much do the same thing. I just feel that sometimes every voice is a little bit different. Sometimes, it could be the same thing that you're hearing over and over and somebody else says and you're like, and yeah, that happens to me all the time. Like my coach will be like, oh my God, I listened to the National Wake Up Cry, and I'm like, I've been saying that for like 6 months. So I get it. I get it. Hopefully we can shed some light into your question.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always like when you're ready to receive the information is when
True.
it'll sink in. That's happened to me a bunch of times over the last 10 years that you're like, oh. So anyway, let's jump in. So we had some questions. Fran was kind enough to do an outline of what those questions were. So Fran, we'll just go in order. Social media question on planning posts for challenge groups and coaching, and then the frequency, and then how to grow your followers. Do you want to tackle your perspective on that first, and then I'll go?
Sure. That goes back to when I was talking about scheduling. I didn't have any kind of rhyme or reason. And I have noticed a lot of very successful coaches don't have a rhyme or reason. What I did start noticing is when I don't have a rhyme or reason, I don't really have a way to track to see what is working or not. Aside from using like Instagram, insights, if I'm not actually using that kind of information so that I can duplicate or not duplicate, but repeat. So I do have, number one, I see obviously what my audience tends to like based on my average likes. It's that comments, are way more important to me than likes. So I try to really focus on that. And then number two, I really try to focus on the three things that interest me, you know what I mean, that I'm passionate about. But when I post about them, how it is that I can help them. So every Sunday, like I mentioned in my scheduling, every Sunday I go back and I at least have, okay, what is it? Am I talking about being a mom? Am I talking about being a wife? Am I talking about fitness or nutrition? I may put what the topic specifically or a story if it's involved, but like Kristina, you're really good at, you've got the gift of gab. I do not. So I need the planning because I don't have the words or if you ask me to do it on the spot, like this is you've seen cerebral, like I'm just like, I have to have a process. So that off the cuff thing, Christy, you're really good at that. I'm not.
So I have no, okay, so I do all my content, like Fran just suggested, on the fly. So that's one thing. I've always been like that. I'm not one to think like 3-4 days ahead, but I do this, and I think it's important to know. I always take every single month, and I first figure out what my goals are for the month, right? My goals are very simple in this business, really. It's getting people into my challenge group, and I've been saying this over and over again because I think I want to really just hammer this point down. The business is so simple. It's challenge groups and coaching. I know that those are my two goals every single month, to bring in people to my challenge group and to recruit. There's also a few ways that I post, just like you should. I call it front of the house. I used to work at a restaurant. We own a restaurant now. So there's the front of the house, which is my wall, my Instagram wall. And then there's the back of the house, which is the personal invites and my Instagram stories. If you follow me, you know that on my Instagram stories, I'm inviting to one, the other, or both on a 24-hour rotation almost every day. Like I would say 90% of the month, with the exception of maybe on like a Saturday or a Friday that tend to be a little bit quieter, you're always going to see a drop your email. I've been using drop your emails more than the polls, because polls can be time consuming. to go through, and then so many people hit them by mistake, or it's a coach. So I do drop your email, or I do have the swipe up feature, so I can use that. But those of you that don't have 10,000 followers should be saying drop your email or an emoji below. It's the same thing. Don't worry about that. So you guys know that I am literally on repeat in my Instagram stories. It can't just be that though. You have to sprinkle in value, other things that are important to you, your kids, the fun stuff that you do, your lifestyle. But when it comes to coaching and challenge groups, that's content. So that's number one. And then obviously I'm always inviting. So I'm always looking at who's following me. I'm shooting off messages. I'm doing that on the front of the house, right? On my wall. First and foremost, you should try to have a transformation pic very often on your wall. If you look at your Facebook, your Instagram wall right now, and there isn't a transformation post on like one swipe, you need to add one. That's very important. People need to know that you're getting results with this. So that's number one. The second thing is I'm constantly talking about what the business has done for me or my story about the business, because I'm always trying to recruit and inspire people to join me. So that's another thing. And then with my fitness posts, which I'm a big believer that they should be quite frequent. They shouldn't be everything, but people need to know that you're walking the walk. And for me, trust is a very big thing in this business. Like I shouldn't have to convince you to drink Shakeology, because you should know it's going to be a requirement when you look at my lifestyle every single day. That's what I want for you, to have that, exude that kind of confidence, that when people are reaching out to you or you're inviting, that the trust is already built in because you're exuding and exhibiting that lifestyle every day. But as far as the invites on my wall, pretty much if you start looking at what I've been doing, every time I post a fitness picture, I'm inviting to my challenge group. I'll drop it right at the end. I'll say, you know, my February group is rocking. If there's still spaces, join me. Even if I'm talking about something else in the post, about how I love that workout or about my running, whatever it is, you'll see quite frequently, not every time, and I'm gonna mute you because I'm hearing some shuffling. I'm saying I'm dropping that at the end, right? It's like, okay, and join me, like almost all the time. But I also do very specific call to action posts for challenge groups, which is the ones where I'll say something like, I'm looking for, you know, if you want to lose weight, if you want a simple meal plan, that, and list out exactly what you're looking for. I do those usually on a Sunday. So Sundays are a great day for that, or on a payday. I don't do that all the time because, like I said, I'm always inviting on my stories, but I do put those up every once in a while. And sometimes I'll use my before and after to do that, or your before and afters. Like I'll just go into like whatever group that we've dropped transformations and just grab a bunch of them and just throw those up. I think it's important that you showcase not only yourself, but other people as well. So was that helpful? Yeah.
100%. I have a bunch of notes myself.
Okay, good. I'm just like a big believer, like, you know, Instagram is free 99. Like Bonnie once said, I love that. Like, give value, but don't be afraid to ask for business all the time, right? If you're showing up, if you're adding value, if you're passionate about this, if you love this, if you want to grow your business, then freaking ask for business all the time. And of course, I'm going to tell you guys that you got to talk about the business. We default to fitness because it's easy, it's comfort zone, it's all of that. But the business has changed your life. And there's a lot of reasons why you're here. Might not be yet, you know, hugely financial yet. If you keep going, it can be. But you got to talk about this process, because that's how you're going to inspire people to join you for more than just the discount. Okay, moving on. Growing followers. Fran?
Well, first of all, the frequency, I think you and I are a little bit different. I do once a day. My growth actually, well, I guess it goes along with growing. Mine actually started to slow down tremendously if I did more than once a day, even every 30 hours. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe not every day, but most days, 6 days a week, it's every day. But I know that you have a lot of success posting more often. So I don't know if everybody's different, or the audience, or the whatever Instagram gods, who knows?
Yeah, I think that's a great I think that's a great point. looking and seeing trends. Because if you're doing something and you're starting to see less engagement, etc., then change it up, then try something different. Yeah, I think everybody's different. If I look at, I do look at a few coaches and they do it different. I use the lists a lot. I think those are very effective, where you're like, I'm, taking names from my challenge group, and then you just start adding.
Yeah.
A lot of people are scared to do that because they're like, what if people don't join? Well, here's the deal, sisters. If your coaches are joining, those are names you can add to that list. You know what I mean? Like, if your discount coaches are joining your challenge group, you better believe I'm dropping their name on that. So you can be creative with that. I think the lists are super effective. So it doesn't have to be a drop your email or a sequence of telling your coaching story. But if you're using like the list, that's a great way to talk about your challenge group without necessarily talking about your challenge group. Make sense? Okay, good. Growing followers. I will say that I think the most effective way is to really take a look at who you are and what are your favorite accounts on social media, on Instagram, whether it's a blogger, not a Beachbody coach, you guys. I know we love a lot of Beachbody coaches, but this is not who you want to target. But boutiques, local boutiques, your nail salon, your favorite restaurants. I mean, I could go on and on. Just who are you? What do you love? What is attractive to you on social media? And go to their followers. And then you look at the picture. And if it's someone that you feel by just glancing at them, you're like, yeah, I think I will, I like her, or I like her vibe, or I like that picture. Then you go to her account and you give her love, and you hit follow. This takes time. I think a lot of people want this to happen like, boom, 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 and I have now 10,000 followers. This is a process that you do, every other day, every 2 days, where you take, it literally is a 10-minute exercise where you just sit there and you do this with 10, 15 people and move on, and then go to something else in your power hour list. But that consistency in doing that will help you start growing your followers.
Same
Fran,
here.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a really good tip. You want your people to start following you. You want to follow your people. Of course, you want to hit follow to them too. All right, inviting, exact process, objections, and tracking. I think we covered a lot about that. The inviting part, huh?
At the end of the day, you said it. We have to invite to our business. We have to invite to our challenge group. What my process is in terms of like breaking it up. My goal, every single week, my minimum is 100. Everybody has their minimum. You pick your number. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. I invite them. Someone also mentioned soliciting. I'm not, if you're following me, you know that this is what I'm doing. So you're watching my stories. I'm sorry. I'm going to invite you. And
Fair game.
I'm not stalking you. I will say, I see you watching my story. Just wanted to pop in and let you know I'm starting something next week. Would you like some information? Like, I don't find that. And at the end of the day, it is a business. So I am soliciting. I don't want to be creepy about it, but I don't think I am when I invite. I ask questions after that. When they say, sure, send me some information, I ask them questions. I really try to get to know what it is that they need. I send some sort of third-party tool. Sometimes I get them on the phone, sometimes not. I try. Christy, I know you have a little bit of a different system. The email thing wasn't working for me. My people were like, yeah, no, peace out. Either they didn't get my email, they didn't open it, they opened it, but they got this. I'm like, who knows? My people don't like email, I guess. But that's pretty much how I do it.
Okay, so I think you covered a lot. It's every day, like inviting, every day is a must. I'm, to be quite honest, 10 years into the business, and this is where I want you guys to get to. That's why I keep saying consistency, lead, be a leader, because 10 years into the business, but this started 5 years ago. I'm an attraction person. My posts, my Instagram stories attract people to me. I feel like I've earned that right? But that does not assume that I don't invite. This month has been a little bit harder because we're not in a launch month, We're getting ready for a launch month, so it's a little bit different for me. You better believe that this morning and on the way to take DJ to school, I was hammering away with simple messages that I have. My February group is open for enrollment. Would you like, so I do that too. And that's obviously super, super duper important. I will say this, Danielle Natoni gave a call that we're participating in a group, and she gave the tip of starting in your Facebook list. You can do this on Instagram as well, but going A through Z, and inviting from your face group list. Like a lot of people will say, oh, I don't know, or I've gone through my warm market. No, sister, you really haven't yet. Go through A through Z and just start hammering away at messages and start inviting people and connecting with people. And, a few years ago, there was this thing that I still live by, which is the 10 in play. I don't know what coach came up with that, but if you have 10 promising, solid, great conversations going at any given time, you have a healthy business. 10 in play. Now, that could mean that it will take 100 invites to have 10 in play, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to keep that pipeline moving and healthy. When you have 0 conversations going, that is not a healthy business. You don't want to be in that position. So if you are constantly in this process, you're going to be hitting Success Club and you're going to be recruiting. Fran mentioned emails. I take all very promising conversations on coaching and my challenge groups to emails. I'm always collecting emails. You guys see that on my Instagram stories. That's how I track as well. Don't kill me, Fran.
No, that's good. You try. That's your system. It works for you, girl.
You guys, I'm just like the opposite of organization. And so what I do is every month I will name my challenge group, and then I use coaching as my email subject line for coach prospects. And then, like, for instance, this month, it's this simple, February group. So all I have to do is when I send an email to someone, it says February group, and then I will filter when I want to do all my follow-ups for my February group. I just filter February groups and I go, bah, 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 and I follow up with everybody. Coaching, when I'm a little low on coaching prospects, I will just go to my search bar on my email, type in coaching, and all my coach prospects show up. And I hammer away at my follow-ups that way. Yeah? I mean, that's my system.
I totally am going to try that. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a very simple system. Yeah. I couldn't overcomplicate anything. So sometimes, that kind of becomes easier.
I lose papers. I don't know where, like, I have these 2 notebooks. They're like, it's all over the place. So that just keeps it right in front of me. And simple, some people use streak. I tried, and all the colors made my brain melt. So I did, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's why I came up with my planner. I needed one place small that I can throw in my bag, that I can throw in my purse.
Yes. Exactly.
I anyone that says yes, I write down.
Right.
But here's the thing, I do use a lot of voice message. Yep. Something about my voice, I don't know if it's my audience or what, but everybody, the moment I started using my voice message, everybody started responding. They hear my intentions, they hear my inflection, you know what I mean? Like my, just the true me. And so they're much more open to talking to me. And
I'm going to add on that. Voice message is a game changer on Instagram, on Facebook, the whole deal. But if you want to hit your goals faster, you touched on it, Fran, about getting people on the phone. Like, that's a slam dunk for you. If you can get and just say, do you have 5 minutes so I can talk to you about the program and my challenge group?
100%.
And just get people on the phone. It's going to save you time, heartache, the back and forth, the got to put the kids to bed, all of that stuff. Just 5 minutes, get them on the phone. They're going to, and it's okay if you're new to this. It's okay. You tell them, oh my God, I'm nervous talking to you, but I think that this is more effective. That's it. Just be human. Yeah. Right? Look, I did this and it worked for me, and I have this group and I think you would be great, and this is why I drink Shakeology. This is why I think Energize is going to fit well for you because you're a mom. And you know what I mean? And that simplicity of it, slam dunk, you guys. So get people on the phone. It's the best way. Nicole also talked about or asked about objections. I battle objections for coaching with my sneak peek videos. Fran, I don't know about you, but literally I do not talk about anything until they watch any one of our sneak peek videos, and then we can, talk about objections. Time for anyone is not an objection. Like, I had someone message me on Instagram and about she's going to be signing up as a coach, and she's like, well, I'm an analyst and I'm super busy, so I'm concerned about the time commitment. And I said, girl, don't I relate? I was an attorney when I signed up as a coach, and that's it. Like, objection shattered. It doesn't matter what your profession is. It doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, a librarian, a stay-at-home mom. Everybody is busy. That's not a valid objection. All you have to do is say, it's what you prioritize that you will accomplish. That's it.
I think you hit it. Two things. Number one, I never ever argue.
Oh my God, never.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not in that person's shoes, nor I feel that as coaches, we're in a new place. Like, we get it, right? Because we've lived through it. We've succeeded. We've worked past it. It's so easy to look back and say, girl, yes, you do have time. You just need to wake up 30 minutes. Like, it's so easy to say that. I let them be where they're at.
Relate.
But you better believe my next story is like, and for those of you that say that, you don't have to, I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out, but Bonnie Engel, it's so true. I'm constantly using those objections as a post, as something to talk about on my stories.
Yes. Oh my God. How crazy that you just said, I'm not going to argue, because I invited someone yesterday that she goes to Equinox, but she had asked me before about Ultimate Portion Fix. And so I went back, I scrolled up, I read our exchange, and I said, hey, I know you go to the gym, but I'm curious if you're still interested in getting started with our nutrition plan. And she responded with something like, I'm not going to argue with you about the shakes. And I'm like, girl, I responded with, I'm a little above arguments at this point. And she this morning responded with, I am so sorry for how I handled that. And because I was like, argue? I don't need to argue with you about Shakeology. Like, what? It was so funny you said that. Like, yeah, no arguments. I think that the best way to talk to handle objections is to relate to them.
100%.
Just say.
And besides, most people are going to say no in the beginning anyway.
Yep.
That just means they don't know you very well. They may not understand your intention. They haven't connected. Please, by all means, trust me when I tell you, they're going to say no 9 times out of 10, but they're going to sit there watching you.
Mm-hmm.
Planted that seed, and I promise, eventually, it could be a couple months, it could be a couple years, but they're coming back.
Yeah, 100%. Kayla, get it, girl, get it. Okay, new GSR for new coaches, simple, duplicable system. Show how it's not listening. We covered that, and make inactive coaches again. Okay, that's a good one. So let's talk about, Fran, how do you get your new coaches started?
Recently, I would say in the last year, as simple as possible. My goal number one is always, I need them to get results, because I feel like there's an emotional tie to that. So if they are just a random person that wants to coach, I actually put kind of like Maura actually covered this really well in a National Wake Up Call a couple weeks ago. I honestly put the pause. I'm like, let's get you plugged into something that speaks to you, because I feel that when you have that passion, when you have that emotional tie, that's when you're that much more, energy high and want to talk about it. So I do make sure that they have some sort of, I give them a couple of weeks to, plug into something. I do plug them into a small little group chat. Anyone that's become a coach recently, or it could be just a coach that just is having some new success, depending on what's going on. And honestly, now that the back online office, that they have those 5 simple videos, like, you need to know absolutely nothing else in those 5 videos. You're really good to go. Can we go above and beyond social media and all that? Yes. But I feel like we're overly trained. And so I needed to take a step back and say, okay, what are the bare minimum things that they need? And I check in with them constantly. Yes. But I no more hand holding.
Yeah. I'm it's very similar, simple, Simple is the best way to go. I'm actually about to redo my new coach welcome email simply because I'm noticing a trend. The way I have it set up right now is just a welcome. I give a little brief history of Diesel Nation and Becky and I, and etc. And then I have in a Google Doc the link to Diesel Nation Academy. And I've noticed that nobody is logging in from, like, my people are logging into Diesel Nation Academy, which is something that I created. So I want at least my coaches to use it. So I've realized that attention spans are dwindling even more, which is crazy. You guys pay attention to that. People are like not paying attention. They don't have patience. So I'm going to change it up a little bit, put Diesel Nation Academy up front a little bit more. But I'm big on, if you're going to run with this, it's one-on-one. So constantly messaging each other on Facebook or text message, answering questions that way. I do not do a get started right call, unless I know that they've gone through at least the first section of Diesel Nation Academy or the Coach Online Office training and have started inviting.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't get on calls because I need to see action. So, and I think that puts the ball on their court. So I do make sure that I wait until that happens. And then once I do get them on a call, sometimes I do group calls. So my coaches know that I'll do like Saturday morning coffee. And that's my new coach started call. I try to do one every single month, or at least when I have like a bundle of new coaches starting, I'll do that. But if I get on a one-on-one call, I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you that you should hit Success Club, or that you're going to hit Success Club, and that you're going to advance to Emerald as quickly as possible, and explain why that's important. So I give my new coaches their goals. I'm also, because I have personal goals myself in my business, I incentivize Success Club in the first month. So this year I'm doing TTT t-shirts. Like this says, it's really cute. Everybody's about to get theirs. But if you hit Success Club and Advance to Emerald in your first month, then you get a t-shirt. Last year I did the intent bracelets. That's why I have like 80 of them on. I have all these intent bracelets because I did that last year. I incentivize that in the first month, so that they can start the path towards Success Starter. They can start getting those wins, get the shirt from Beachbody, get the shirt from me, so that they get excited. I am about to pop a new diamond tomorrow. I think it might be our first diamond of the Diesel Nation Diamond Push. And she has gotten every single prize known to man. And from me, like, she's reigning. She has like 85 hoodies. But guess what? Like, that's what's motivating her to keep pushing forward right now. So I do believe that people like to be incentivized. And then, when the time comes, they understand that building a business is not for the t-shirt, it's for them. But at first, it's fun to win like that and to get some wins. So that's how I get my coaches started. Oh, and Nicole, this is important for you. I know Fran knows this and Melissa knows this. This is how I get my Success Club base as high as it is. I do a thing called Off to the Races. So on the 5th of every single month, I do a post in my personally sponsored page of anybody that has Success Club points on the board, between 2 points and have hit already Success Club. And I do a post called Off to the Races. And so congratulations to everyone that's off to the races quickly. And that's the day that I start my push thread for my personally sponsored team. And that the first group that goes into the thread are the people off to the races. As coaches put points on the board, they get into the thread. And so every time I add someone to the thread, I post in TTT, which is my PS team. So-and-so got points on the board. They're going in the thread. Boom. And that's how, and then what's cool is that it's not just my new coaches in there. Monica's in there. Danielle McKean's in there. Tara's in there. Suzette's in there. All the people that hit Success Hub easily. And then if I see someone like, shit, they hit Success Hub fast, I'm like, hey, give some tips on how you did that. So in the thread, the older, more experienced coaches are giving the new ones life, and helping them and inspiring them. We have
so on the 5th, anyone that just has a few points, you put them in the thread. I like that.
So you could do it, depending on the size of your team. It could be team wide. I do PS. And then some adoptees, like Jenny's one of my adoptees. I have some adoptees in there too, but that's how I keep my, every month, new thread. So at like the 4th of each month, everybody wants to keep that other thread going. I'm like, nerp, it's closed, and we start a new one, and we close down January and we start February. That has worked. That's why I keep doing it. I started this last year, so that's something that I have been implementing in my business. Was that helpful, Nicole? Yeah? Okay, good. All right, cool. How to make inactive coaches active. Just do the ultimate reset and post that you're doing it. No, I'm just kidding. Fran, do you have any tips on that?
So I know incentives work for you. I'm not an incentive person personally. I'm more of an accountability kind of person. So I do the same thing with my challengers and coaches. I need to, and by the way, a lot of my coaches obviously are, what I call them my VIP, my discount coaches. You need to place an order at the end of the day. I don't really care what it is. And sometimes it's not even enough to get you active. I'm not going to lie to you, but you need to put some sort of skin in the game for me to keep you in my challenge group. My challenge group is ongoing. So I send a real nice and sweet, like, hey, end of the month, what's going on, anything going on let's get ready for next month. I see that you haven't ordered anything recently. Let me know if you want to, whatever. I don't even care if it's a sample pack, something, but like, come on, do something.
I've seen a couple of things. I think there's a couple of things to, first of all, pay attention. I think paying attention to your coaches that go inactive is important, because then they've gotten off track on their health and fitness. And I think that if you know that, you have more pull, or what's the word? I can't think of the word right now, but to get them active again by saying, hey, what's going on? I think just asking that question is incredibly impactful. Like, what's going on? Why did you pause your Shakeology? And if they tell you, oh, because I have 35 bags at home, that's a problem, because they're not doing what they said they were going to do. I try to keep as much as possible my discount coaches active in challenge groups. So I'm constantly inviting and posting and sending emails through my back office to my team saying, hey, challenge group, new challenge group, hey, challenge group, new challenge, so that they stay in the group. I think that's helpful in keeping them active. Launches are incredibly important for getting coaches active and keeping them active. Right, as the leader of your team, and your team can have 2 people or 7,000 people, it doesn't matter what it is. When we have a new program launch, and 10 rounds is going to be the next example of this, you have to communicate with your team and make them join you, because this is going to create excitement. This is going to make them active, but it's a perfect opportunity to open that conversation and say, this is your chance to really do what you were going to do, which is get results. Let's do this together. Let's host our challenge group together, et cetera, et cetera. Just get them excited about doing the program and getting them on product again, getting them to purchase a challenge pack with the VIP early access, so that they really, really commit to the process of the new program. And that hopefully will inspire them to stay on track with their products and keep going. Another tip I've heard, I've never done this, but I know other teams have, is doing a product spotlight. So getting your coaches excited about everybody talking about Energize or Recover, and making sure everybody has Recover at home this month, so that we can spotlight Recover as a team on our Instagram stories, etc. Doing a team 3-day refresh is incredibly impactful for volume and for getting coaches active. But of course, I can tell you till I'm blue in the face all the things that put band-aids on inactive coaches. The thing that's going to make them active and stay active is their health and fitness journey. So why don't we tackle that? Why don't we get them back on track? Why don't we get them on the phone and say, listen, a year ago when you said you wanted to join me, you had XYZ goals. It's an opportunity to start over again. We got a new program coming. Let's get back on track. I don't like to just put band-aids on things. If we're just putting a band-aid on it, then they shouldn't be a coach. You know what I mean? And that just causes you like anxiety of having inactives in your downline, which is going to happen. But I think if we tackle the health and fitness goals, I think we'll get more people active and staying active. Woo! And I have Shakeology, which is not good for thirst. Mm. Okay, we're over time. But
Okay.
early days of coaching. Oh my God, my early days of coaching.
Do you even remember?
Mindset, I do. How can you forget? Like, it's crazy. Do you remember your early days of coaching?
Clear as day. I remember sitting in the library waiting for my students to come in, sweating, like shirt wet, because I'm like, I have to send this invite. Putting the Vanna White's Autumn with her containers, like I remember a lot.
Yeah. So what setbacks do you feel that you experienced early on?
Probably the setbacks was when I was focused on just the business. I tend to be a little bit of a bulldozer. So you give me a list of things to do, I'll get them all done. And I realized the moment I shifted to how can I post and help somebody else, the moment I took myself out of the equation and I was there to serve others. Yes, there's a business I'm growing, obviously, and there's a lot of intention in that. But the moment I started, how can I serve others that are watching me? That's when I made the shift. The setback in the beginning was I was more of a walking commercial. Granted, social media was very different back then. Not a lot of people were using it. So I could do the Autumn Calabrese, graphic, Beachbody graphic with the containers and, call it a day. But I would say that's probably my biggest setback is just putting my fear aside. When I tell you I was sweating just to send 3 invites, like shirt soaked. Now I can give a rat's ass. Like you said, I'm not in the business of convincing. You don't want it, not a problem. Not even 10 seconds. I have not even given you a second thought. At the same time, anyone that I see needs my help, they hear my authenticity in my voice. They hear it in my conversations. So I would say in the beginning, that wasn't evident. I don't know if that makes any sense.
100%. You're more focused on the what than the why, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which that was one of my big shifts is after reading Simon Sinek's Starts With Why, that's where my social media shifted from facts. And I would argue with you about the ingredients of Shakeology, and I'd post the ingredients of Shakeology to
True.
I'm just going to shift to why I drink Shakeology.
Yeah.
And why I'm a coach and why I started my health journey and why. And that was a game changer. Setbacks though, I will say not knowing the compensation plan sooner, I think was something that probably may have held back my income growth at the beginning. One thing I remember so clearly happening was after I hit 2-star, which after you hit 2-star, you hold it 6 weeks, you get a nice bonus, right? Every quarter, you can get a bonus at 2-star, 5-star, 10 and 15-star. And I'll never forget driving home one day from work and I had hit 2-star. Becky had hit 2-star and my friend Shay Stanford had hit 2-star, and Shay texts me and says, holy poop. I just saw babies pop on. Holy poop. Did you get your bonus? Oh my gosh, did you check your bank account? And I'm like, what bonus? What are you talking about? And she's like, yes, the 2-star bonus. And I checked my bank account and it wasn't there. And I'm like, it's not there. She's like, you have to call Coach Relations. Why didn't you get your thing? And she's like, you held 6 weeks, right? You held your rank for 6 weeks. And I'm like, I don't know. And when I looked, I surely hadn't. I had dropped 1 week during that last stretch of the quarter and I didn't get my bonus. And that was a huge wake-up call for me when I said, I got to know this stuff and I got to own this business if I want to be successful. I can't leave things to chance. Like, I'm responsible for that. So that was one big aha moment. The second one was just conversations. I had like some pretty great conversations with Scotty Hobbs where he talked to me about like income growth. And at that point, I had just been treating it the business for fun as opposed to as a business. And he really enlightened me to the fact that if I got really intentional and really focused and really used my influence to help people, that it could shift from where I was to where he was. And that was big. On the leadership end, at the beginning, it was all about me. Like, I was just an amateur leader. And I think you see that a lot in a business like this. There are a lot of accidental leaders, people that come in, might have some quick success, and then kind of hit a wall because they're not actually growing in their leadership skills. They're not actually growing the ability to lead a team. And this business is so not about you. It is so not about you. And at the beginning, I was all about holding my rank and my this and my everything was my. Until one day, Sagi's wife now, Barbie Kalev said, I'll never forget, I was sitting in the third row of my car, Sagi and Danny in the front, Becky and Barbie and Larry in the middle, and she turns around and she puts her hand like on the thing and she goes, so tell me, what do you do for your team? And I go, not much. Like, I was just thinking about my numbers, my this, my that. And she goes, that's the problem with your business. Because this is not about you. It's about how you can help them succeed. And I know my sister had that same aha moment that changed the dynamic. And so now if you want to grow the business, it's how can you serve? And Fran already talked about this. How can you serve the people on your team where they are, while inspiring them to do things that they never thought were possible? That's always like the tricky part. And inspire them to do things that they didn't know they wanted to accomplish, because it's going to level up their businesses and their life. So if I can go back and start this whole leadership training sooner, and not just about pumping out numbers and recognitions and all of that, I think it changes the game. Leadership skills and development is big if you want to grow a big business. And I know Fran can attest to that. I know Melissa, who's on the call, can attest to that. And Nicole, you're on your way, sister. So that's super duper important. And then reaching Diamond, I didn't do it right away. Woo! Go figure. It took me, I signed up in August 26, 2010, and I hit Diamond Cinco de Mayo 2011, I think. I know Cinco de Mayo, but so I didn't do it right away. But I will tell you, when Becky told me to do it, because that's how it really worked back then. When Becky told me to hit Diamond, it was a decision that I made, and I just mapped it out and got it done.
For me, it's just I would say 90%, 99% of the challengers, they're discount coaches. I find that my challengers, inspired by their transformations, decide they want to go get into coaching. So I sign them up. I rarely even give them the option. Like, it's a no-brainer. If you're, you know what I mean? You wait. So I could build easily Diamond. That doesn't necessarily mean I've got workers. That's a whole other, animal in itself. But building Diamond, for me, that's not too difficult.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and if you're not Diamond yet and you're pushing for it in this group, it's okay to build your Diamond with discount coaches. But like I've been kind of preaching a lot lately, is you want them to be strong discount coaches.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want a discount coach to be on 50 PV. You want them like inhaling Shakeology through their nostrils because they love it so much, because you want them to be around. So it all starts with how you're bringing them in.
Just finding my lifers. That's what I'm doing. I want my lifers that will order anything I say, because they're like, oh my God, this has made such a big difference in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the key is getting it done so you can move past it. But yeah, you're gonna, and here's what I say, the longer you're in the business, the more you continue to grow, the higher and better the quality of coaches that come into your team, right? So you have to work through to earn the right. I'm very vocal about this. You earn the right to sponsor like insane business building coaches by your actions. right? If you're leading, if you're pushing, if you're hitting your goals, you now earn the right for someone to come in and say, you're going to help me be successful because I see you doing it, right? So you lead the way, and you'll hit diamond, sure, full discount coaches, but when you get to 2-star, now you're going to start seeing, first of all, now you're like, damn, I want more of that. So you become more confident in the way you post and talk and recruit. And now you're starting to see a shift in the people coming into your business. Now they're coming to you because they want to be in the business. Now they see you as a leader. So, respect that process, but work towards it, because it's great once you're like 3 years in and you're hitting goals, and then you put up a post about a sneak peek and you get 3, 4, 5, 6 people asking for information to join your team. Like, that's an amazing place to be. You know what I mean? So that's where you want to go. And it's possible. It happens. I know it does. You just got to keep going. Keep going. All right. Are we done?
I think we're good.
I think we're good. I hope that was helpful, you guys. I'll post a recording. And if there's there's going to be more hot seats. So you're going to have perspectives from a whole lot of people. Wait, let's do a picture before we jump off. Or a boomerang. Let's do a boomerang. Because we're super cool. Okay. We're super cool. All right, ready? Boomerang, 1, 2, 3. Ah! All right, got it. All right, you guys, great talk. We'll talk to you later. Thank you, Fran. You're amazing.